Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Dark Magician deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because it has been a little while since I actually updated this deck. But before we get into this, I really quickly want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Tommy Monkhouse. He actually sent me a really heartfelt fan email and requested that I do this deck profile a little while ago. And I'm really excited to bring this one to you guys for him. He actually has been a fan of mine since I started the channel just about and has done a lot of comments on the channel. And he was like, man, I really love Dark Magician and I really want to see this deck done. And I wanted to give him a quick shout out, guys. So definitely give Tommy some love down in the comments. Really excited to bring this one to you guys for him. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. And definitely check out that Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, or even getting a requested deck profile just like this one with test hands every single month that you are a patron. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight on into this one. And Tommy, this one's for you, man. Let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be doing 3 copies of Dark Magician. Dark Magician is the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, and this card is the main boss monster of the entire deck, along with the, Dark Magicians. This card's really good because it's versatile and it's used in a lot of the different combos, and it's one of the most nostalgic cards in the entire game. We then play a single copy of Magician of Dark Illusion. I like 1 copy of Magician of Dark Illusion. I kind of keep going between 1 and 2 of these because I really like the ability of this card, but sometimes it bricks on me, and that's why I don't like it so much. But this card becomes Dark Magician while on the field, and you can only use its effect of it once per turn. And during your opponent's turn, if this card's in your spell, if you activate a spell or a trap, then you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you activate a spell or trap card or effect while this card is face up on your field, then you can target 1 Dark Magician in your graveyard and special summon it. Pretty good at recurring a Dark Magician, but I feel like it's just a 1-of to me now. I love this card, but I just like it as a 1-of right now. We play 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Apprentice Illusion Magician is a 3-of to me. I know a lot of people play this card at 2. I love it at 3 because she's probably my favorite Dark Magician-ish card. That's actually one of the reasons I wanted to build the deck so badly is because I love this card. You discard a card from your hand and then you get to special summon her to your side of the field, and you can add a Dark Magician from your deck to your hand when she's special summoned. And then during damage calculation of a Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to make that monster go up by 2,000 attack, which can make your Dark Magician go all the way up to 4,500. It can look a Blue Eyes ultimate in the eyes when you send this card to the graveyard, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician Girl. It wouldn't be a Dark Magician deck without a single copy of Dark Magician Girl. You play a single copy of her because she gains 300 attack for each Dark Magician and Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. She can go all the way up to 2,900 in this deck, which is pretty good. I like that ability. Usually you're just going to use her as a combo piece to go along with your copy of Dark Burning Magic to be able to board wipe, which is really cool. We then play 3 copies of Magician's Rod. I thought he only had 1, but apparently he has 3, which is weird. Magic. We then play, when this card is normal summon, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically has Dark Magician in its text, and during your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card or effect while this card's in your graveyard, then you can tribute a spellcaster monster to add this card back to your hand to get you another search when you normal summon it. We then play, I know, it's still expensive, but you gotta play it, 3 copies of Magician's Soul. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You can drop this card out and play 3 copies of Fusion Deployment if you want to make the deck budget. Magician's Soul is really good, but the other option is dropping this card out to play 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment's like $5. This card's like, I think, like $80 last time I looked. So it depends on what you want to do. If you can afford it, get the Magician's Souls. If you really want to play this deck. If you're not really worried about it and you want to pick this deck up just to be a fun deck, probably pick up the Fusion Deployments until this card gets reprinted. And we have hope because Legendary Duelist Season 1 came out, so maybe in a little while we'll get another Season 2 and then finally Season 3, and this card will get a reprint, finally. So here's the hope. So what this card does is you can send 2 cards from your 2 spell and traps from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw that many cards. And if this card is in your hand, then you can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to activate an effect. You either special summon this card or send this card to the graveyard and then target one, or then you can special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard. So you can send it to the graveyard and then immediately special summon it right back to your field by, using this card, which is where Fusion Deployment kind of comes in. You don't get the draw, but you do get the special summon, which is nice. We then play a small Spellbook engine, which is very small, which is a single copy of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. You'll see the kind of spell cards that we play in the deck with it in just a minute. This card, when it's normal summon, you get to add a Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand, which is really nice, actually. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's really good in here because you can just discard it to be able to stop your opponent from doing something. And it's really good if you change it out for Forbidden Chalice or Effect Veiler if you're playing against your top Exexel. But if you're not worried about that and you're more worried about searching, then this card is really good to play just at this ratio. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. 3 copies of Call by the Grave is really good in here because basically what you do with this card is it just negates a hand trap, which is really nice because you really want to go off on your turn. So you can play it at 3. It's really good. You can actually drop this if you want to play Forbidden Droplets. If you want to go make this deck over $1,000, you can drop that and put those in here. But if you don't want to go that route and you want to make it budget, play Call by the Grave at 3. We then play a single copy of Terraforming because I have a mystery field spell that you guys are going to see in just a minute. We play a single copy of Spellbook of Secrets because it literally adds any Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. It's essentially a Spellbook spell card version of Magician of Prophecy, which is pretty good. 2 copies of Knowledge. Knowledge sends a spellcaster monster you control or one of their Spellbook card from your hand or face from your field to the graveyard. And if you do, draw a card. It essentially gives you a normal summon, draw 2, because you normal summon out the Magician of Prophecy. You search the Spellbook of Secrets, and then you search Knowledge, and then you use Knowledge to tribute your Spellbook Magician on your field, and then you draw 2, which is pretty good. If you draw double Knowledge, you just send a Knowledge from your hand to the graveyard, and then you get to draw 2. Pretty good. Or except you can't use that. You can't send the same card, excuse me. So for our mystery field spell, I'm going to put it face down and you guys are going to guess it. We're going to do guess that card again. You guys seem to love it when we actually do guess that card. So comment down below and tell me what you think of this mystery field spell is. That is your only hint for this deck. It might be something that's really common for you guys to guess, but I'm super excited to actually bring this card into this deck and finally made room for it because it just kind of shuts down the entire game. So definitely comment down below. Tell me what you think it is and I'll reveal it in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and it is. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell down there so you guys can get all the Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles and live duels. So, and test hands. So, it's going to be 2 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. I know that's pretty standard, but sometimes you don't see people playing this. And it's a really good card in this deck because if you control a Spellcaster card on your side of the field, your opponent cannot activate spells, period. Like, it shuts down your opponent, period. And if you control no spellcaster, then you can't activate any spell cards. But usually you're going to have a spellcaster, and you have recovery with cards like Magician's Navigation and Eternal Soul to get your spellcasters back on the field if it does shut you down, which is really nice, because if your opponent does happen to board wipe you, you have different abilities to actually recover. We play a single copy of Bond Between Teacher and Student, that if you control a Dark Magician, you can special summon Dark Magician Girl from your hand deck or graveyard, and then search either Dark Magic Attack or Dark Burning Magic. We don't play the other two, so I'm not really worried about it. There's essentially if you control Dark Magician, special summon Dark Magician Girl, board wipe your opponent for every spell and trap and every monster. Everything goes. Fire sale on your opponent's side of the field. Fire sale on you. We then play a single copy of Dark Magic Attack, which is essentially Harpy's Feather Duster for your opponent if you control a copy of Dark Magician. 1 copy of Dark Burning Magic. This card is the card that's fire sale on your opponent's field. Like, it just, everything goes. 1 copy of Eye of Timaeus. This card's really good because you just use a copy of Dark Magician on your side of the field, and then you get to special summon a fusion monster that specifically lists Dark Magician to your side of the field, which is pretty good. It can be the Dark Magicians. It can be your copy of the Dark Magician, the Dragon Paladin, or Dragon Knight, or it can be Dark Paladin as well. Any of those cards are really easy to bring out with this deck, and it's just really awesome to summon. And we play 2 copies of Secrets of the Dark Magic. This card's really good to summon your copy of the Dark Magicians because it can let you fusion summon a spellcaster it can let you fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand and field, including a Dark Magician and or a Dark Magician Girl as a material, which is pretty good because you can either, if you draw into Dark Magician Girl, then you can use her to summon out your copy of the Dark Magicians with this card, which is pretty good. I like that ability. 3 copies of Soul Servant. Soul Servant, it lets you place a card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard that specifically lists Dark Magician in its name, or Dark Magician Girl, which is pretty good. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, draw cards equal to the number of Paladinium monsters, Dark Magicians, and or Dark Magician Girls with different names on the field or in your graveyard, which usually is just gonna be, unfortunately, 2, because you have Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician in the deck. Then we play 3 copies of the Magician's Circle, Dark Magical Circle. When it's activated, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then add 1 Dark Magician or card that specifically lists Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, which Soul Servant can stack the deck with the card that you really want, and then activate this, and it can get you what you need, which is pretty good. If you can also do a really neat combo, that if you have Spellbook of Knowledge in your hand you're going to draw, you can peek at what you're going to draw with this, and then if you don't like what you're going to draw, you can activate Soul Servant to place what you want on top of the deck, and then use the copy of Knowledge to grab it, which is kind of cool too. So that's it for the spells, guys, which is a lot. It is a spellcaster deck, so you kind of expect it, though. But let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're playing a single copy of Magician's Combination, 2 copies of Eternal Soul, and 2 copies of Magician's Navigation. So basically what you're doing with this is this revives Dark Magician from the hand or graveyard once per turn. Your Magician's Navigation is if you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, and then you can special summon a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck, which is pretty good. And the Magician's Combination is once per turn when a card or effect is activated, you can tribute a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl to special summon 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your hand or graveyard with a different name from the tributed monster, and if you do, negate the activation. And if this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, you destroy a card on the field. I like this card as a one-of because it's just really good at negating stuff, and if you can get established like bond between teacher and student and you link them both away, then you can kind of tag them in and out to be able to negate stuff, which is super cool. So that's it for the traps, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing 2 copies of the Dark Magicians. This card is really good in the main monster that you're going to be summoning out of the extra deck now, that once per turn, if a spell or trap is activated, then you can draw a card, and then if a spell or trap, if it's a spell or trap, you can set it. And if it was a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it the turn it was set. And if this card is destroyed, you can special summon both a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which is really good that it replaces itself with both of them on your side of the field if you fusion summon in this card. It just takes a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl plus a spellcaster on your side in your hand or your field. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This card protects all of your face-up spells and traps, which is really good. 1 copy of Dark Paladin, still hands down my favorite card in the entire Dark Magician archetype, besides the Apprentice Illusion Magician. Gains 500 for every dragon in the graveyard, and then it can negate a spell once per turn by discarding from your hand. It has the ability, it's kind of weird how it's worded. You can negate the activation of 1 spell card and destroy the spell card by discarding 1 card from your hand. It's not once per turn. You can activate that as much as you want because this is pre once per turn. So this card negates spells like crazy. 1 copy of Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is really good because you have a lot of different link materials in the extra deck, and it can get you multiple pops on your side of the field. Blackluster Soldier, because you might as well, if you're going to play Magician Soul, you might as well have Blackluster Soldier as well. And this card's really good to be able to summon to your side of the field off of like a Dark Magician and then 2 other monsters, and it's really big and has removal that doesn't target, which is pretty good. Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians, you just use this to link into your copy of your Access Code Talker, and she also has a really cool effect that for every spell in the graveyard, she gets a token, or she gets a counter on her. And then once per turn during the main phase, you can remove 3 spell counters to special summon a spellcaster from your hand or graveyard on defense position to a zone it points to, which is really good in this deck because you can summon her, or send 3 tokens to the graveyard or 3 counters to the graveyard, or take 3 counters off of her, and then bring a Dark Magician back to your side of the field, or a Spellcaster to your side of the field, and then link her away to summon your Access Code Talker. So she essentially gives you a free Access Code Talker. Nightmare Unicorn just to pop stuff or bounce stuff. Nightmare Phoenix to be able to pop spells and traps. a single copy of Cross Sheep. You could change this out for a copy of Nightmare Cerberus if you want another Earth target, but it's really good to be able to fusion summon under this card with these cards, and then be able to revive a level 4 or lower, which could be your Rod to your side of the field, and then climb from this into your Selene, which is really good, and then Selene into your Access Code Talker. So you essentially can make a 1-card, like a 2-card Access Code Talker by going here, fusion summoning a card under this, like Rod, then going here with Rod to Selene, Selene to Access Code Talker, by using the same Rod over and over again. Haha, using the same Rod. 1 copy of Link Rebo. You gotta play Link Rebo because it's a Kuribo in a Dark Magician deck. It just fits like bread and butter. You can use this card with your copies of Magician's Soul to link into this card, which is pretty cool. Relinquished Anima is really good because you can use this card with, again, the Magician's Soul to go into this, and it's cool to play Relinquished in the deck too. It's super nostalgic. Red Eyes Flare Metal to be able to deal with your opponent. Every time they breathe, they take 500. Every time they move, they take 500. Every time they activate a card effect, they take 500. Like, if they think, they take 500. This card is insane. I love it. It's probably my favorite XYZ in the entire game, and if I can make it in a deck, I play it in a deck. Big Eye to take your opponent's monsters, and then 1 copy of Ebon Illusion Magician, because Ebon Illusion Magician lets you detach your material from it to special summon basically a Dark Magician from your deck, and if the Dark Magician battles, because it's the only normal monster in the deck, it says normal monster that's a spellcaster, but it's always going to be the Dark Magician that you're going to use it with. If the normal monster battles, then you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field, which is pretty good. I like that, and it's really helpful. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck, and I hope this did justice for Tommy. I hope he did enjoy this. He's, like I said, he's been a fan of me for a long time, and I'm really excited to actually bring deck profiles to you guys that you guys really enjoy. And it's really exciting to see somebody who's been following you for like 5 years doing this and watching you grow as a person and watching your channel grow. It's really exciting to see those fan emails and see what you guys have to say. I really enjoy those. And I wanted to say thank you, Tommy, for the heartfelt email to the DarkArmedDuelist channel and to me. I really appreciate it, and I hope I did justice. And sorry it took so long to actually do this deck. I wanted to make it just right for you. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad. And definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.